Well, crap. We got bait and switch. Even the editor from the last chapter got fooled. Well played, Ishida. At long last, we have the answer to Furuta's plan. Well, that's what I want to say, but Ishida decided to pull a bait and switch. That sucks. On one hand, it's a shame that we have to wait for another time to understand Furuta's and V's motive. On the other hand, the chapter does deliver more theories and questions that may result to a new direction for the next part of the series. Most importantly, it also delivers an emotional roller coaster with blissful character developments and heartwarming reunions. Let's focus on the emotional trip first before raveling on the new twists and turns that was dropped by certain characters. This is one of the best emotional pieces that I have read from this series, and the character doesn't have to die to make it happen. Kaneki is not dead since his brain is still active, which is not really a vegetable state as well. It doesn't remove the sorrow, however. The scene has the atmosphere of mourn or funeral with sleeping Kaneki being watched by his loved ones as they all grieve and stay around, waiting for a friend to wake up one day. We'll talk about more about his condition later, because the starting point of Friends Gathering begins with Kimi. As I said in my last chapter review, Kimi wasn't celebrating because of Kaneki. True, there's more to it as well, but she personally wants to save him, because she owes him her life. What a woman she truly has become. Seriously, I thought she was just a love interest, but she has grown significantly. From there on, you can argue all day on which character or moment is the best of the reunion, but all of them are special. Toka was left alone when Hide goes out to check on the perimeter, which leaves a complete reunion of Kaneki's ghoul friends. Nishiki's part is short and sweet, with his way to show his grief. He does like to run his mouth, but because of Kaneki is in a coma, he cannot. That expression speaks volume. It was reassuring to see Hinami again, along with Banjo and his friends, whom I don't recall seeing them in a long time. I got to admit, it was pretty sad to see Hinami with one leg. I don't know if she can regenerate her leg, but it's still heartbreaking to see her in that condition. Regardless, she is happy to see her big brother alive, and that's good enough for me to warm up. Shu is always the best when dealing with strong friendship. The flowers with the definition of never forget is so like him, and it was touching to say the least. The man truly has class. It's good to know that Misa is in good condition, joining along with Ayato and Yomo, who are just standing by the door. It's still sad that Naki is dead, unable to rejoice with everyone as a family. In fact, I really adore this scene to be more of a family reunion, similar to like when a person dies, all old friends and family members reunited in one room. It somewhat has an undertone of a wake, but it also captures the deep connection that Kaneki was struggling to find. It makes the theme of his character wonderfully rewarding, so long Ishida doesn't tarnish that. But you know him, this is true happiness that he should not lose. Although it is arguable on which scene has it best, my personal favorite reunion is with Psycho, and she is a bona fide definition of a little charming angel. First of all, she is fine, though it is left on anyone's guess on her status, whether she's a ghoul or a human still. The answer may wait a while, but this moment is what matters the most. I purposely emphasize the reunion to be filled with ghoul because it plays a subtlety mention that Psycho is friend with Kaneki as a human. What makes it brilliant is how Akira and Almond bumps to her, wondering if she's going in or not. They didn't think anything but wanted to see him because he is their friend. No status will separate that fact. It's actually impacting for Toka welcome them with no grudge or anything. This series seriously came a long way. Saiko immediately approaches to Kaneki, which is sweet, since she was behind Alma and Akira in the first place. It really hits the top emotional level when Saiko looks at Kaneki and lays her head on him, wanted to be by his side. Maman somehow got me whimpering. It's really emotional with that one panel shot of everyone standing by his side. Ishida has been on point on the artwork display of deep emotion running high. It is simply sublime. And I really hate onion ninjas. As for the other Q squad, I really like how Ishida is handling Musuki road to redemption so far. She understood her action, deemed as unforgivable, enough for her to lose any rights to make amends with those who she has hurt. Thankfully, Ishida didn't brush everything under the rug and let the consequences and regrets elaborated and understandable. Then we have Urie, who has to be on top 5 best characters if there's a new popularity poll. Honestly, this is my favorite part of the chapter and is simply incredible. If you somehow, some way, for whatever reason don't see Urie as a great character, let alone liking him, this chapter can make you into a believer. He has grown to an amazing height of his character. I like how he calmly and gently tells Musuki to meet Kaneki to start strong on her redemption. Otherwise, she would never progress. He evolved so well that I can cry right about now. The best part is his character reflection since the moment when Kaneki harshly told him the moral of strength. I always thought the advice he gave was not really wrong, but not really the best to follow. Thankfully, Urie finally blurts out that it did affect him, but not made him. I seriously love this piece of writing of how he simply recaps his life after Shirazu's death, and while it helped him to get stronger, he thought it was wrong. It leads to great written dialogues to convey deep meanings behind it. We don't need a long reel of flashbacks because we know what he has gone through, and each of the moments matches perfectly. It describes his character from his painful start to his wonderful ongoing person that shaped him perfectly. The last development he had is reflected here in a powerful meaning. He owed everyone for saving him. He just hadn't noticed it. That can fall to anyone in real life. We can be blinded to see what we have is helpful and beautiful. God bless him. He has seen it and he will cherish it to the end. That takes care of the emotional side. It's time for another round of theories and a new what the hell revelation. To begin with, Kaneki's body is now a mystery. It is said that it's no longer resembled to a human, let alone ghoul, which makes it harder to read the problem. I feel like that's a sign of what's happening to those who are subjected to dragon. Case in point, Rize. It's still not determined if Rize from last chapter is the old but newly made or fragment of Kaneki's thought. But if we go by Kimi's theory, it might be the former. She shed the light that the nucleus is the source for dragon to move, but since he's removed, it died out. The problem is that at a different ward from the first, it is still standing. Her theory is that each spot has its own nucleus to function, rather than one main source that was Kaneki. This would make sense on why Rize was born or whatever in the last chapter. Furuta had a nucleus in him and purposely gets eaten so he can awaken her. If so, that would mean other nucleus are being used, right? It would suggest that someone else is about to be newly born as well. Who? I got some ideas, but maybe I will wait until the next chapter. The megaton bomb is dropped here, and this makes the whole path very interesting, yet confusing. It was good to see the CCG to discuss the thought of working together with Ghoul, though confliction still stands. It is not going to be that simple, but leave it to Furuta because he's about to make Tokyo into Ghoul City. Hiroko recalls Arima's warning that is still puzzling, and one would think Dragon was it. It turns out it wasn't that. While others are joking with his uneasiness, Hiroko looks pretty worried on what he's about to say. Arima's message is that every single human would turn into a ghoul. That is a hell of a chilling words that is sadly happening now. I assume that Arima learned this from being part of the organization. If that's the case, this could explain that Dragon was greenlit by them, rather than Furata went out of his way to do it behind their back. Hiroko and presumably Arima didn't know how, but know that's the plan. It is hard to understand their agenda at this point. Why would they create a city of only ghoul? All this time, did they want a one-eyed ghoul for this plan rather than eliminate the obstacle? Again, what happened to the first dragon incident exactly? This really confuses me. Modern day is seeing drastic change of Tokyo, with human turning into a ghoul. It finally hits him. What if the dragon monster is only a bluff and it has another body? If we go back to the theory, it could mean each of them has their own host. It's confusing, but I do believe we will get many answers before the part ends. We are definitely far from over. What's not over is Kaneki, as he surprisingly wakes up. This is great yet very puzzling. I want to rejoice, but something tells me things aren't exactly normal. Why wake up now? And what about his body? Ishida, what is your plan? This may not be the chapter you were waiting for when it comes to Rize, but this sheds more theories to her awakening. That said, it contains very emotional scenes of old and new friends reunion, wonderful result of a character development, and the ending that could be a miracle, but perhaps not. I try not to be optimistic for a happy ending, but damn it, I need it. Something is about to go down. Share your thoughts in the comment. I try not to go too much in an analysis mode in this review because this is a review. But if you have any questions or comment, leave it in the comment section so that way I could discuss further detail. This is very interesting because I do believe the next volume, which could be the last one, is releasing next month. And if I remember the chapter count, it seems like we are close to the end of the volume itself. Maybe Red is going to end very, very soon. Only time will tell. And that will do it for the review. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you like this and want more of this, subscribe to my channel and my world will be yours to stay. Until next time, take care.